Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Meesha.
Welcome to another episode of the North Atlanta Real Estate Podcast with your host, Meesha Rawal.
And Jeff Ahi.
And today we're going to look at the vibrant city of Alpharetta with a population of about 68,000 people, which swells to about 120,000 during the weekdays. Both Jeff and I live in the area, and my boys still go to school here. And we've really enjoyed living here. We're going to give Alpharetta a little bit of color with our personal stories, but kind of paint a broad stroke overview of what Alpharetta is all about. And because this is a real estate podcast, we will jump right in first to see what the market is up to.
Okay, so why don't we just, I guess simply, we'll just talk about the sales price. What do you get for your money here and what's going on? So the first thing I guess we need to let people know about Alpharetta is the majority of the residential areas were developed from like the mid 80s to about the year 2000. That was probably, I don't know the exact number, but about 90% of all the homes were sort of built right then. But now we have this collection of newer developments and properties that are being built primarily around the center of downtown Alpharetta, which has really come alive in the past 10 years. And so there is some sprinkling of infill new construction throughout the city, but that's predominantly where it is. So let's talk about that as two different things, because the older properties, much different than the stuff you're building now, because right now, just to give you an idea, when they're talking about single family homes, downtown Alpharetta area, they're paying $900,000 for a lot to builders. And so they...
So break that down again, Jeff. That sounded very impressive.
Yeah, well, so, you go into some of these older neighborhoods where there's a little ranch home that's been there for 50 plus years, and the builders need to build the new homes because there is a demand here. And so they just buy these, they tear them down and just build a new home in its place. And so they're paying $900,000 at least for these homes now.
For a tear down.
For a tear down, yeah.
And they're building a house on it, and I'm sure the price is...
4 to 5 million for the new ones, yeah. And it's because you have to build in that price range because you've just paid so much for the land. The only way to justify to make it economically feasible is you have to then sell it for that kind of price range. Yeah, so it really skews the data. And so that's why, not everything's $5 million. We don't want to give that an impression, because it's really a great place to raise a family. I moved here in 1994 when my oldest daughter was at that time 3, and we wanted to come up for the great schools, and they have friends in all the neighborhoods and all like that. And so that's what I think of when I think of Alpharetta. And then we just have this other part of Alpharetta, which is just downtown Alpharetta and Avalon kind of connected. And so we'll sort of get everybody broken up there. But so the single family homes, let's look at then just say the dividing line, everything built from 2009 and older. The median sales price of the properties are $816,000. So, that's kind of the median. So there's some a little bit lower that you can get into, and then some higher. And while we're talking about that, why don't you touch me, Meesha, because I think you went out and you found what's the very most expensive house we have in Alpharetta, and then what's sort of the lowest entry point. Why don't we talk about that now, since we're talking about price points here?
Sure. So the most expensive house that we currently have is priced at $7 million. It's 211 North Esplanade, and it's down by the Green in Avalon.
That's right.
Which is our mixed-use community. It has offices, shopping, restaurants. So this house is on about 5,000 square feet. It's got 4 bedrooms and 5.5 bathrooms. If you calculate the price per square foot, we're about $1,400 per square foot. So,
wow. That one's up there, yeah, absolutely.
And mostly because I feel the location, but also, I feel that some sellers are trying to preempt the market and sell the houses for much higher, because the house prices are creeping up. And the seller bought this house in 2016 for 1.7. So he's going to make...
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. But it is kind of unique. There is no more inventory that you can build in Avalon. There's nothing left, right? So you can be near it, maybe here and there, but even that's disappearing. So yeah, if you want to live in Avalon and you want a single family home, then you're going to be choosing one of these, whatever it is, 20 homes that are down there.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to be a little cost effective, the least expensive house in Alpharetta as of this recording is 3842 Avansong Village.
Yeah.
Priced at $420,000 for a single family house, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,322 square feet, which pretty much boils down to $317 per square foot.
Yeah, it's a cute little neighborhood just north of Windward Parkway, and you have access to all the shopping, great schools, and so yeah, you can get into the area for a reasonable price.
And the location for that is fantastic, which is the reason you see so many rentals in that particular subdivision. Yeah, I mean, the going price about 5 years ago was about 250,000, and now they have jumped just like all of Alpharetta.
So when we're talking, Meesha, about this sort of median sales price of the older homes, and sort of give people an idea of Alpharetta is both east and west of Georgia 400. It bisects.
Yeah.
The downtown portion of Alpharetta is on the west side of Georgia 400. And there is a little bit of residential area there as well, and it primarily off Rucker Road and sort of surrounding off Highway 9 there. But the majority of our residential areas are on the east side of Georgia 400, which is where I moved when I first came up here, and that's where you live now, right? So why don't you let everybody know, I mean, what do you get for the median price of about $816,000? I mean, what kind of house would you get over there?
A very cute house.
Yeah, okay, very good. I know yours is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you look at houses off of Kimball Road, you have amazing subdivisions like Glen Abbey, Tuxford, Pine Walk, Kimball Estates. You could get Tuxford is one of my favorite neighborhoods in that area. It's very majestic, very established, and you could get a nice house on a basement, 4 bedrooms, finished basement, 2-car garage, about 3,800 square feet to 4,200 square feet for about $850, $890. Again, depending on upgrades, you could find a slightly outdated house for about $750, $785 also. Now, if you come towards Windward Parkway, Windward pretty much takes up most of it. You could get a nice house for about $650, but it could also go all the way to $3.4 million because Windward has this gigantic lake, and if you want to be on the lake, you're looking at about $2.5, $3 million also. But in terms of townhouses, there's this super cute community called Glenmore right opposite New Prospect Elementary.
Yeah, right.
And you could get a nice townhouse in there for about $420, $450. And then if you come towards Academy Street, you have those older townhouses that we
so like
almost
Regency
got,
at North Point.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You could get a cute little townhouse in there for about $330, $350, again, depending on updates.
So when we're talking about these crazy prices that they're asking in downtown Alpharetta, people don't have to be scared by that. You can go and get a nice home in Alpharetta in the residential section there, primary, and have these amazing schools and the safety and all of the parks that are here and all that. And I think we'll get into some of that later, what we have offered. But so that was what you get if you're talking about sort of pre-2010. So now just give some people a flavor of what's going on with the newer construction. So now we're talking about the properties that are also some recent resales built from 2010, and this will also include new home. That now the median sales price jumps from where it was $816 for the older properties, now it jumps to $945 because you have a lot of these expensive new homes are mixed in with that. So that's the single family. And now if we talk about the attached homes, the townhomes, and the condos that we have here, for the properties that were built from 2009 backwards, the median price then is only $387,000, and it's been pretty flat. Prices haven't gone up there, whereas the new construction and the newer properties and some of the older ones have had a little bit of appreciation this past year. The townhomes, just like the other areas we've been talking about, has had a little bit of pressure, and pricing has stayed kind of flat. The one thing to note, however, is that of the newer, when you talk about the newer properties, $387 median sales price for the old ones. When you mix in the new ones, when you're talking about everything since 2010, now the price jumps to $890,000, the median price. And that's largely because that's what they started developing around the city of Alpharetta and down Thompson Road as you're going down towards Avalon. A lot of these townhomes, which is what I live in. I live in this walkable area in Alpharetta. And the prices here have now jumped. Now these new townhomes are what, 1.3 million or so, and some of the older resales that are a little larger are 1.7 million for a townhome. So that's kind of what's going on. And like you alluded to with the new construction, some of that now is climbing to 4 and 5 million around downtown. So we've run out of land to build on are running out, right? So prices go up.
Exactly, because there's this new subdivision off of Kimball Bridge Road, which was Hawthorne by Toll Brothers. And I think they were flying off the shelf. And I think now there are about maybe 2 houses left. And then if you go down Webb
is that
Bridge
right?
Road,
Wow.
Yeah, and if you go down Webb Road, there is this subdivision called the Bridges, and they were priced at about 3 million plus. And I think there are about only 3 left. And I mean, gorgeous, gigantic houses. But of course, not too many people can afford to buy those houses, which is the reason why we have price points for everybody.
Yeah, and so why don't we tell everybody, what do you get when you come to Alpharetta? What do they get when they come here?
Well, for the most part, Alpharetta attracts a lot of professionals. I think we have an extremely high educated population. 70% of people in Alpharetta hold a bachelor's degree or higher. The median household income is about $150,000. A lot of 2 earning members in a house, and the average age of people in Alpharetta is about 42. So a very young, educated population. We have about 900 tech companies here, including Fiserv, ADP, which is one of our highest employers, Verizon, and Equifax. So you have the jobs. You have amazing schools. So you have the schools. You have amazing sense of community. Great location. The weather is fantastic in Alpharetta. So I feel all these factors attract so many families come down to Alpharetta, to the point that Alpharetta was named Zoom Town, because there's so many remote workers who are working from home because of all these tech companies. And the number, as we were talking about, swells to 120,000 during the weekdays. So
the population, grows. So we have basically 60,000 people come to Alpharetta just for work.
Every day, exactly, which shows how much growth and potential growth we have, especially with the Google optic fiber.
They definitely made a push to try to attract tech companies here, and I guess it's worked. I will have to give a lot of credit to the politicians that were running Alpharetta and still do. Is they made very good decisions in developing it and really did outreach and trying to bring businesses into the area.
And talking about businesses, we do have amazing restaurants and shoppings that come along with setting up your business over here, because not everyone wants to set up a tech company. You want to open up a restaurant, you want to open up a little clothing boutique.
Yeah, so we have this different downtown. Alpharetta has it, and Avalon. They're connected by the Alpha Loop, and so you can walk. It's about 1 mile between the centers of the two, maybe a little under, I guess. And so the nice thing is now we have explosion of new restaurants that is servicing the people that are now living here. But not only that, of course, around all the residential areas that we talked about over on the east side too, you have lots of restaurants and supportive shopping for them as well. So it's a very convenient place to live. When you're here, you never have to go too far to run into the grocery store or restaurant or whatever you need. Lots of parks also, right?
Yeah, and I have to give a shout out to this website called A Side of Town, and it is run by this amazing family. And what they do is they will tell you what is happening in Alpharetta before it happens, so that you can totally go in and check out what's happening, because we have about 150 community events happening in Alpharetta every year.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy how, since we live here and we see it up close just downtown. We have everything from our Saturday farmers market that runs through from April through certainly through November, and then many concerts that you have down on the green every Fridays. I see them down there frequently. You have the big festivals, Taste of Alpharetta, gigantic. They have 50 and 60,000 people come for that sometimes. Wire Wood Festivals, Brew Fest. There's always something going on down here. And so same thing over in Avalon. They have concert series over there during the weekends. They have, I've seen some lots of charitable events that they hold down on their green. They have ice skating park that they do in the winter. So it's kind of fun when you're down here. There's always something going on, and most of the stuff's free.
Yeah, and if this feels too small for you, then we have the Ameris Amphitheater, which has all those big concerts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's located super close by. Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you feel in terms of real estate? What is the trend now? Should someone moving into the area rent, or should they buy? Because rentals in Alpharetta are running about $2,000 for a 2-bedroom.
Oh, if we're talking about the apartments, right? If we're just talking about if you're coming in from another area. Yeah, so what do we get? We door knocked in some of these communities. What, 2-bedroom, 2-bath?
Yeah.
What are they, about 1,100 square feet or something like that, maybe? And
yeah. And we're talking about subdivision of apartment complexes like Woodhaven and Belmont, right off of Old Milton Parkway. Yeah, a 2-bedroom would run you about.
What were they? They were anywhere from 2,200 to some people were paying 2,800. Some they get a garage, 1-car garage or something, right? Somewhere in that range.
Yeah, so right under 3,000, you could get an apartment. And if you're looking for a single family house outside of these apartment complexes, it could be anything from $3,000 all the way to $8,000, depending on where you want to be.
Yeah, and if you really are just trying to rent, we even own a rental property down here, and it's just 1,550 square feet, but I think ours is in the 2,300 range. So you can get some stuff even in that range if you get a little bit smaller home. And so there is, I think you can make the case if you're just moving to town and you don't know exactly where you want to be. Sure, you could rent something and try to pick your spot. But I think that the nice thing for folks moving to the area, whether it's Alpharetta or Johns Creek or Cumming or Milton, all these areas that we've talked about all the time, people have to realize that it's all safe and it's all family friendly.
Yeah.
This whole area is categorized by that predominantly with great schools. So you almost can't go wrong. But I tell you, I've really enjoyed living in Alpharetta, and I've been a resident for over 30 years. It's nice, like I said, it's kind of still fairly close to downtown. Not that I ever go downtown Atlanta very often anymore. Everything I need is up here.
Downtown Alpharetta. Yeah. And talking about schools, we have the flagship school, Alpharetta High School, and there's another school that recently opened up in downtown Alpharetta. I feel like we should do a segment only about downtown Alpharetta. There's just so much happening here. One of these episodes should just be about downtown Alpharetta. Jeff, what do you think?
Sure, I think that's a good idea. Or we're just going to talk, and people are going to be leaving us in droves, right?
Yeah, so Innovation Academy is this new STEM magnet school that opened about 3 years ago. And it has attracted, again, because this is already a tech hub, so a lot of the parents encourage their children to follow suit. And we have, it's extremely competitive. It's demanding. And it
and your son is there.
My son goes there.
Yeah, you should be proud. Shout it out.
And they do say that if you love studying, come to Innovation Academy. If you don't like to study, just be careful when you do enroll, because there is a lot of studying. So they focus primarily on academics, and they do have a fencing team and an e-gaming team. But for the most part, it's all academics, healthcare, computer science, and engineering. And I feel like it's one of the schools that we really, really needed to be in the North Fulton area.
So I guess if we want to start wrapping up, when we talk about it, we have the great schools here. We certainly have shopping. We have the residential areas with nice housing. We have a fairly good convenience to downtown. We have parks like crazy. So it's really a great place. I think folks definitely want to put this on the list if you're relocating. Check it out. And I guess they can reach out to us if they want to get a feel for what's going on at the moment when they're coming into town. And we'd be happy to show them around and give them a good idea of what they can get here. Yeah,
absolutely. And thank you so much for another episode, Jeff. Till our next episode.
Yeah.
See you again.
Bye for now.
Bye.